All right, welcome in to the brand new, welcome into the roster reveal. I just realized I put the wrong logo on the Twitch stream. That's fine, but welcome into the roster reveal stream here. A few disclaimers before I get started. Please listen to all of them. We have a ton of new users. So this is pretty much how game day normally looks. If you want to submit ads that are previewed on the bottom line here, you're more than welcome to submit them any week about your team, about players, anything you really want. Also, we do halftime ads like this. So if you want to have a halftime ad for a streamed game, feel free to cook something up and send it to me via DMs. In addition, I'm going to be going through all 126 teams here and every single player. A few notes is that at the top, you can see obviously their name, height, weight, junior, whatever. If they've been redshirted, it's that little RS there at the top, okay? So as far as requests for red shirts and depth chart changes, this will be available if you don't watch it live. This will be available on the YouTube channel with timestamps later. And I'm going through the full edit roster screen. So this is not your depth chart. So the game does a really good job at, like, if you have a defensive end, like two really good right ends, it will put the second one at the left end position. So please don't tell me to do things like that, or like your right outside linebacker versus your left outside linebacker. The game is going to put the highest overall linebackers out there. So little things like that. If you have edits you want to be made to the depth chart, or specific red shirts, like, please don't tell me to redshirt your third string center. The game's already going to do that. But send me a DM with the full list of everything you want in one message. That way I can just do it all at once and then post your playbooks in the playbook channel. If you just randomly post the changes you want in the server, I will not see them. Okay, so I'm not expecting lots of people to watch this live or anything. Like always, this is just a video that goes up later. So yeah, let's get started. I'm going to be writing down timestamps before I do every roster. So this is going to be a long stream, and there's going to be pauses and stuff. This isn't meant to be like a live thing, but I do it live just in case you want to watch it. So we're going to get started here with Arizona State. This is Coach Rick. So let's take a look at his roster. Jared Lorenzen's up to a 96. Finn Collins and AJ Manning, not Arch Manning. So you should start thinking about a quarterback. Tony Turner is now the highest overall. Ricky Tiso, this is an in-game recruit from last season that committed. So he'll probably be the starter. But remember, he runs that Air Force offense. So, wait, I got to remember to go through every single person. My bad. I forgot this is the roster stream. Wide receivers, Loyata Alexander, Mike Seymour. Not a lot of freshmen here. So, the offense for Arizona State's not looking too great. But Taco Fall, SFA player, is now the starter. Here's how the line is shaping up. Daryl Siegel is a SFA player. This is a freshman. Also, another disclaimer is there's a UI glitch that we've figured out by doing these streams, that freshly imported players that were done through the editor, sometimes their overall will be off on the UI here, but their overall is correct. So Daryl Siegel, he will start for him. On the line, this is how we are looking. Donnie Thurmond is a new SFA player as well, one of his commits. He is pretty fast. He has no linebackers. Now Curtis Lofton's now starting, SFA player. So I'm really only going to point out or showcase the incoming freshmen, because you guys already know what kind of player, you know, Jared Lorenzen is and that sort of thing. Armani Sanders is now number 2 after Luke Bowman got stolen. Roberto Aguayo up to an 84. All right, so now on to Buffalo. Remember how I'm always writing these timestamps here. Arch Manning's up to a 93. So after, this is what he looks like after developer. I believe he wanted me to upgrade his accuracy. Abdul Salam Apollo Ames is an SFA player. Wide receiver Ty Schultz, Randall L, Calvin Tyrell. And then this is the guy who he got from Ohio State as a transfer. So, big get for Buffalo. Remember, there's no transfer red shirt. Yeah, BJ Stabler did not progress. And then the new right tackle, Cam Pringle. This is his ratings. He is a run blocker. All right, you got Michael Morris, 84 here. Matt Allen is that 5-star I think he got. John Elevate is now the top guy. Ray McNeil is the SFA player. This is what he's looking like. He's a really good run stopper. Middle linebacker is kind of sus. Patrick Carey. Jordan and George Jordan. So his corner room is not that good. Eddie Piper up to a 79. And Barney Fish up to an 81. Kicker. Punter. All right, now we're going on to ECU. This is my last good year, so Dak Prescott, Christian Richard. So this is a this is my 5-star. I was gonna put everyone on notice. Here's Vanilla Vic. First look at him. This is the award for winning the Fantasy Football League. He's very good. I was gonna tell everyone, hey, I'm gonna recruit a quarterback, but the game gave me one, so kind of sucks because I like having a SFA player at quarterback. But here's Dusty Dukes, the new one of my recruits. Arnie Ronaldo comes back. Jackie Claude. Here is Gene Dallas, another one of my freshmen. He's at center. Xavier Johnson. Daniel Williams. And then J.J. Watt is a beast. So this is one of those instances where it's pretty obvious the game is going to put Aaron Lynch on the other side for me. So you don't submit things like that. No, he's tight end. Leslie Stirrups, Shuford. I might need some help here. Dexter Glasscock. Jordy Drake. And then because stupid Big Hawk stole my safety, I had to move Sua Cravens back to free safety. So Mickey Flames, here's our first Bear Cave player. This is what he looks like. I'm going to ignore that call. Like I said, Bear Cave Awards are going to be very balanced, and he's very balanced. J.R. Swain, another freshman here. Free safety, Sua Cravens. Clint Kubiak. Surprised he didn't get tampered. And then I have kicker and a punter. So that's East Carolina. All right, Georgia Tech. Let's see. Quarterback, Joe Webb, not looking too hot, unfortunately. He has, looks like Schroeder now. Here is what the running back position, Dante Lesser is one of them. This is what he looks like. Todd Wards is another freshman that he got. Wide receiver, DJ St. Julian up to 79. No left guards. Fox Crater is at the center position. Right guard, Fred Burtz is there. He'll probably be left guard. And the left ends, Chandler Jones up to a 90. Dictator, here is the other. This is the second place for Bear Cave. So like I said, once again, super balanced player. Remember, these guys, the height and weight was decided by whatever player I made them over. Left outside linebacker. McIntyre in the middle. Nickel Boone, this is the in-game recruit, or the IRL Bear Cave winner. So he's looking very good. Dante Bruton is another recruit. Alfonso Sampson is another one. So bringing in 3 corners. And that is a very good-looking young corner class. Reggie Gibbons, this is what he looks like. All right. On to Illinois. So this is the new team. Remember, if you're watching this on VOD, just slow it down if you need to. I have 126 teams to do. So he gets Collier for a year. Doug Chonkla, he's a senior. Mike Allstott, both SFA players. Miles Scott Davis Hallman is his recruit. He is a red zone threat. Very good jumper and stuff. Eddie Royal. This team still has Pee Wee Hop. He is unfortunately buried on this depth chart. He's a guy who very likely will find himself in the transfer portal at the end of the year. Nigel Pancake, this is what he's looking like. The offensive line does not look that great for this team. Joe McNair. And then Vince Wilfork in the center. He's a monster. Marquise Tompkins is an SFA player. And then one of the best safeties in the country, Kyle Horry, SFA player, is a 94 for this season. So this team's definitely on a win now. And then here's Guy Beard. So this is what the punter looks like, the freshman. All right, Iowa State. All right, Kiko's up to a 92. Juwan Harvey's up to a 92, so his core is leaving. Wow, a lot of his running backs are leaving after this year. Mo Alley Cox decided to come back. He's a 96. Jalen Knoll, 95. Kyle Houseway is finding his way into the slot. Weird journey for him. Stephen Moore is up to a 93. Also, Jeff Pimpton is the freshman. Dodge Saucer, what a name. Stratford is now starting on this side. Howard Brown, Barry Bumpus, SFA player. Joel Ward starting there. Philip Wilt Lewis and Lou Underwood, this is what he's looking like. And then IRL, Bear Cave, Stevie Scumbag, this is what he's looking like. And then Emmett McKinney is going to play this year. Harrison Smith up to a 91. Malik Verdon. And kicker, punter. All right, on to the next team. Kansas. Quarterback Kyle White up to an 89. Running back is looking rough. John Bowling. And remember, he's JJ Justice here, but he's not listed there. Hopefully his line holds up this year. Left end. Kansas does not look all that great this year. Here's Tez White, the freshman. This way he looks like very strong, power moves focused. Dave McCormick, he went down. Kobe Bryant, JJ Justice up to an 85, so probably a starter for wide receiver as well. And then Chung is up to an 87 as a sophomore. All right, Michigan State, they lost in the Natty. This is what they are looking like. Quarterback Hamp Fay, he came back. Banks is up to an 89, and now he's listed as a running back first. So he's not. So he's progressing as a running back, not a linebacker. Calvin Johnson now the top target here for Michigan State with Bradford Blazer and Ben Williams. His line's gotten a lot better than last year. Dwayne Johnson up to an 85. Thomas Williams now takes the reins. So remember, Burnfinger's probably going to start at right outside linebacker again. Or one of the linebacker spots. No Aqib Talib anymore, so kind of a rough corner class. But he still has Bo Williams returning, and then he has Bird, Kirk, and Cherry, who's currently third on the depth chart. He is a monster. 90 hit power. Can do just about everything. Kicker, punter. MSU is done. Minnesota. All right, so this is what Minnesota looks like. You got Slade Roden, the freshman quarterback. This is his ratings. Rough at running back. Kim Medal, and I did re-import Brady Boyd for you, Jay Jettas, so don't keep asking me about that. Michael Oates did not progress. Jude Abraham, this is where he is at. This is another IRL Bear Cave reward. Devin Hester up to a 75. That's what your tight ends look like. Kiki up to a 76. No right tackles. Here's what Irby looks like. So he is the your other freshman. Brian Arakpo's up to a 78. And then Iceberg Cave, he was a 1-star. He's now progressed super nicely, and he looks to start now. Schuster. Shaquan Bowser's now a junior. Damn, time flies. AJ Klein, sophomore, up to an 86. Tyrell Keys is now your number one guy at corner. Corner's looking a bit rough for Minnesota, but decent free safeties. So the game will probably put some of those safeties at corner for you. DeAngelis, Eaton, and that is Minnesota. All right, San Diego State. All right, so this is what the quarterback room's looking like. Haskell, Reed, Butler, not the greatest. Keithman is up to a 92. Vic Wally, this is what he's looking like as a freshman. McMillan, this is the one of your athletes that you're asking about. He was the best at running back. Jay Jai is also an SFA player. Oscar Fryer is now your number one receiver. RIP, greatest GCU basketball player of all time, in my opinion. Brian Koch, if you remember him. Shannon American, this is what the tight end's looking like. 4-star. If there's a year issue or something, like someone didn't get redshirted that you remember you redshirted or something, include it in the DM so that I can fix it in the editor. Those are super easy fixes, so just include that on roster changes that you're asking me to make. Kirk Maggot. Tyson Hookah, the best linebacker in the country. This is what he's looking like. A monster. Kobe Canyon. Yeah, when I have 6,000 players to and here's the tampered junior Jabby. He went up like +5 to an 86. He is a monster. Zone coverage. I am pissed that he took him. But great help. New Zealand Williams. That's not an SFA player. That's an IRL guy. Kicker, Adam Monroe. Punter. All right, that's what San Diego State's looking like. On to Southern Miss. All right, quarterback D. Dowis. This is what he's looking like in his sophomore campaign. Ty Keys, T. Webb, Jake Lange. DJ Hall. All right, here, this is the 5-star freshman that he got. Pretty good if you ask me. Ray Rice up to a 77. Tybo Rogers, this is one of the guys. He's very elusive. Peyton Hillis, 74. I think he went down. Zay Franks. Alfie Hayford is an SFA player. This is what he looks like. Hybrids are pretty much always super, super balanced. D tackle's looking a little thin there. Jonathan Richard. Here's DeAndre Moose, the freshman. Amari Snowden up to an 81. All right, that's Southern Miss. All right, on to Tennessee here. All right, Louis Shire's a 99. Bishop Moore, the freshman. This is what he looks like. Pocket passer, high awareness, not great stats, right? So that's the pocket passer archetype. Cardale Jones is an 87 at running back. Look at these ratings, god damn. The only bad thing about Cardale is he's not breaking a tackle. No, you didn't miss Scar. Scar's way down there, my guy. These are just the teams that are labeled as users first. Marley, he moved Nixon to wide receiver. You got Walker Merrill. This is Chris Beach, his guy. This is what he looks like. Damn, no wonder Eddie Royal wanted to leave. Shit. Tight ends. Michael Orr's up to an 87. Jadavion Clowney up to a 94. Pino Armstrong here, another freshman. Nick Dobinski, this is one of his guys he got in IGR. Michael Cole's now the top guy here. Sam Powell is another SFA player. Here's Malcolm Cope. All right, now on to these other teams here. All right, so Air Force. So I start going through these ones a little faster. Obviously, if you're a new user, I'll point out SFA players as I see them. Brock Baxter, Darius Hayward Bay, both SFA players. Yeah, but that's at quarterback. At running back, it'll be a different story. Quarterbacks are programmed to break more tackles. I believe we have an Air Force user, not 100% sure, but probably not competing for natties anytime soon. All right, Akron. Good quarterback. This might be like the only year they make a run, if they do. By run, I mean 6 wins. All right, Alabama. Nate Robinson up to a 96. EJ Irons. This is a guy who might find himself in the transfer portal. So we will see. Leonardo Ferguson up to an 87. That's an SFA player. Bob Pork up to an 83. Perry Sly, SFA freshman. All right. App State. Tab Scott up to an 81. SFA player Akron Barron 77. Rashad Banks, SFA player. Arizona. All right, Josh Gamara. This is what he looks like. Plummer, Mario Jones, Stevie Rocker now. Should have subscribed with Twitch Prime, Dogwater. Alright, so you got right. Here's Wishbone. This is what he looks like. He is a monster. 87 overall. Alan Lazard's up to a 77. Otto Tidwell, this is one of your players. This was the bust. Poe Castle, this is what he's looking like. Charles Nelson, this is the guy who went -6, who you got from West Virginia. Here's Taylor McQueen. He's currently the 3rd free safety. And Townsend over here. Bro, I'm not going to take down your request from Twitch chat. Fuck off. DM me, please. Alright, Arkansas. Yes, that's AZ. 35, 40. Alright, so Coach Bohr here. He had Brad Thornton, 83, sophomore, not that bad. AJ Green. I said after. I'm not listening to any requests before the roster stream. No SFA players on this roster because Coach Bohr did not recruit last season. He tried to, but nobody committed. This is decent defense, though. Very, very slim at corner there. To be fair, Skook, I've already gone through all the user teams that were currently selected. I can control 16 teams at a time. So, all right. So Ford is still going to be the starter most likely. This is our Arkansas State coach. He lost Rashad Mendenhall, but he got Chet Doge. This is what he looks like now. The former Baylor guy. He's looking to dominate the G5 now. Jermaine Gresham's up to a 78. This team looks to be pretty good. Once again, corner is universally the weakest position right now in the game. All right, now we got Army. So you got a freshman 87 speed guy. That is huge. Second leading rusher in the country last season. Major Cash, SFA player. I'm not sure. I'm guessing that on the I'm guessing that corners are just weak right now because the base roster, whatever the revamp roster we were using, like a lot of those players declared or left or were older, like super high rated. So they all left, leaving a bunch of underclassmen or low-level players to come in, and so they're still a lot lower rated. That's my best guess. Because we're the only players left from existing rosters are redshirt seniors now. So I think we're just seeing the pain of going through it. All right, Auburn. They finally have a user quarterback, so we're going to see if they can somehow get back into being competitive in the worst P5 conference in the country. The SEC, no SFA national championships to their name. Big Ten finally got themselves their first one, so now it's The SEC is all alone in the gutter. This seems fine, but for the SEC, probably not that fine. Both the Big 12 and the Pac-12 have 3 national championships. The Big 10 and the ACC both have 1. The SEC has 0, and the Coastal South actually has 1 as well. And we do not ever have a G5 natty, unfortunately. We're hoping to eventually. All right, BYU. This is a really fun team, mainly because you got Jacob Conover coming back, the leading passer in the regular season from last season. He is a monster. But after the season, so BYU coach, you're probably going to want to start recruiting. But you have Tyler Bausick, who is an SFA player. He finally gets a user coach back. You also have Dalton Cobbleberry, who is an SFA player as well. He is a monster. I like him a lot. And looking at the, I believe the schedule for BYU, it's pretty easy up until the second half of the season. So, big opportunity for BYU to have a pop-off year. Enzo Woods is an SFA player. He's up to a 73. Not that crazy, but he is your starter there. No, that's impact players that the game automatically decides. SFA players just means that they're recruited through the server. There's no in-game like mark for them, unfortunately. That'd be cool if there was. It's just I memorized them pretty much. All right, Ball State, we do have a new user here. This is what your team is looking like. They actually do have a few SFA players lingering on here. Justin Torres is one of them. He's a senior. Aqib Talib, he wanted playing time. He's going to get it transferred away from Michigan State to be the starter for the Cardinals. That's a big get for them in the portal. Those are the kind of moves that we're hoping to see a lot more with the new transfer portal. And then EJ Gootley, he is also an SFA player for you. Welcome in, Flame. We already went through your roster. All right, speaking of your roster, let's see what you're losing. I haven't even seen Baylor yet because they're no longer a user team. All right, so Colt Brennan up to an 87. Drones. Braylon Burnside up to a 90 as a sophomore. Okay, my guy. Elijah Bean. They lose Chet Doge, so it does hurt their depth a little bit. Tight ends hurting. No more Eric Ebron. The offensive line not looking as good, but they still got Carver Kemper, who's a senior. Shad Boyko, 88 overall there, still hunkering down that line. Nobody on the right end. James Ray, his senior year. And then Rocky Kalmus up to an 85. Joe Hayden up to a 73. Josh Berg is a 71. Adrian Amos, the senior, 83. And then Jamal Okiki is back. He unfortunately got hurt in like week 2 of last season, so no redshirt opportunity. So he's going to be a beast, hopefully. 99 speed. Baylor's still going to be a very good team. Boise State. So this is Coach Silly now. He made the move to Boise. And at quarterback, so you have Taylor Green, the redshirt senior, starting. If you'd like to start Zach Maynard, you got to let me know. He is his tamperer pick. He didn't progress quite as well as you would have wanted. This team is pretty disgustingly bad, especially in the Pac-12. Vaughn Haley is an SFA player for you. Glenn Childs followed you, so this is a freshman. This is what he looks like. Yeah, Boise's not looking too hot in this universe, unfortunately. But this is a team that's like a great user opportunity, though, because this team can be good if you get a coach that is active. All right, Boston College. So BC was hoping to make a push for the back to the playoff last year. Marcus Davis came back. He is a 93 overall. Matthew Murray, he will, and Cody Kessler as well. Theodore Jenkins, SFA player. Kyrie Irving, SFA player. Devontae Freeman, SFA player. Andrews is up to a 99. David Tyree is an SFA player. This team has gotten a little bit worse. Henry Davis is an SFA guy. Lance Tomahawk, SFA. Takio Spikes up to a 84. See if they can make another run in the ACC. Bowling Green. In case you ever get a Bowling Green user, here's what it's looking like. They had a good year last year, but this team's not looking that great. .41 at tight end. Oof. Oof. Oh god, dude, Bowling Green is disgustingly bad. That's like a team you take over if you, like, if I win a championship at at ECU. Like, that's something I'd consider, going to a, like, super difficult team. All right, we got Cal now. Chad Blunt will be the freshman starter. So Chad Blunt will start, and he will face Michigan State in the first game of his career. Chad Blunt versus the world. Terry up to a 99. Dude, the in-game recruits don't mess around. I mean, simply use a Twitch Prime, my guy. So Cal is a top 5 program in SFA history in terms of record. They're looking to have another really good year. This is they figured out the situation at quarterback. I have no worries that they'll still be okay. Oh well. Sounds like a skill issue. All right, Central Michigan is a new user. Alright, so got some work to do in the quarterback room. You have temporary fixes there. Ben Hogan is an 80. Maybe your card's getting declined, Dogwater. Yeah, Central Michigan's definitely gonna be a tough rebuild. I knew that one would get you frisked. All right, Charlotte. So, senior Eddie Dove, the SFA player, up to an 85. Should have been Kansas's starter. That sucks for Fink. If you could just get past how terrible this team's uniforms and colors are, this would be a decent team to rebuild. But Charlotte's logo and their jerseys are so gross. Cincinnati, my biggest rival. I do not play him this year unless it's going to be in the AAC Championship. Here's Chad Barber in his senior year. He's an SFA player. Hudson James is also an SFA player. Damn, this team's good. Ugh. Ollie Thibodeau is an SFA player. He's a senior now. Andrew Whitworth, senior, or SFA player. Chuck Valverde, SFA player, also has a Team of the Year under his belt. Terry Schooler. This man could find his way to the Hall of Fame. He is a monster. Sean Gatsby, SFA player as well. All right, Clemson. Will Taylor. Obviously, the transfer for Warfield doesn't really hurt this team. They are still really good. Stanky Leg. I can already guarantee you he's going to be in the transfer portal next season, so watch out for that. He's definitely a target. Once again, I don't have a specific criteria. It's just SFA players that are buried on depth charts on CPU teams. I want them to actually have a chance to play, or at least be an option for users. So if I can put them in a portal and it doesn't kill a CPU team, right? Because they're buried on the depth chart, then that's what we're gonna do. Magnuson is a SFA player. This is what he's looking like. He was an in-game recruit. One of my favorite CPU players, Martin Black, helping them secure the national championship in Season 9. And they are not ranked. So, Clemson likely flying under the radar. All right, Coastal. This team is very exciting. CJ Irons is the starter. He's 90 speed as a freshman. Very excited to see what he does. He's the next in a long line of Irons. AJ Samuel is an SFA player. Decent receivers, but all seniors. Chase Smith is pretty good. Colorado, my favorite IRL team. We're almost an hour in here. Drew Carter is back. You also got K.O. McCarr is up to a 97 as a sophomore. Holy smokes. This man progresses. Ty Robinson, Pentry. This team could now potentially take on like a Ohio State, maybe give them a run. And our Kid Condor progressed a little bit, even though he gave up 3 sacks to JT Tuilamoa. That was a slaughter. Watching that matchup every play. Yeah, Kale is looking good. He was an 85 freshman, and he's seen plus 12 in 2 years. That's wild. Or no, 3 years because he was redshirted. No, that's still 2 years. Yeah, because he's a redshirt sophomore. All right. Colorado State. This team not looking that great. Lots of freshmen here. Maybe some hope for the future. Somebody wants to take over the CSU Rams. This team's going to get slaughtered by Colorado week 1. God damn. I may or may not be picking Cale McCarr at running back for fantasy for week 1. Only question is whether Colorado decides to throw for 6 touchdowns or run for 6 touchdowns. All right, Duke. Jordan Moore is your starter. Not the deepest wide receiver class you'll ever see. This team almost won the division last year. Remember, if you're on YouTube later, just slow it down. Great future of YouTube. That way I can get through this at least a little faster. Luigi Guido, SFA player. Eastern Michigan. Quarterback. Oh God, this may be the worst starter in the country. Eastern Michigan's had a few good years in a row. I believe 8 wins. 96 overall senior, but looks like they are on a downward spiral this year. We saw them take Iowa State to the brink in that game on Bear Cave last season where we were having the glitch with the 25-foot spikes attached to the helmets. That was causing offsides every play. Yeah, so our Twitch channel got affiliated, so ads are automatic. I can't really control them. But Twitch Prime subs, it will take away those ads, and it's free. Also, any revenue that's made through this channel is automatically going to be given back to the community in buying whoever wins the national championship a actual real-life trophy. So just keep that in mind. You're not funding me, you're funding a championship. Geeter is back as a senior. FIU could potentially make a push now for the Sun Belt. Except, wait a minute, this wide receiver room is shit. Good tight end though. A bet, Dogwater. You want to send me like $1,300 a month? William Manning. Dude, it's fucking LA, my guy. It's literally the cheapest rent you'll find anywhere. And I get all my utilities included, so no, I'm definitely not moving. Yeah, I know, it's bullshit. LA rent is horrible. Like, unless I wanted to, like, move in with a ton of people into a house or something, I'm not gonna find anything cheaper for living by myself, which I enjoy. All right, Florida, playoff team last year. They got Del Rio Wilson back. He's 90. Eric Johnson, new starter here. Yeah, I after living in an apartment for 4 years with five roommates in college, I'm good on the roommates. Next roommate will be my girlfriend. Roman Mills, SFA player, up to an 84. He might, because he's stuck behind Glover, Mills may find himself into the portal. Well, and because I do, like, this stuff for the SFA where I stream and everything, so I don't want to be interrupted or, you know, have noise in the background or stuff like that, right? All right, FAU. Taggart is a senior, so this is probably their last year of really being a good competitor unless they recruit somebody. It's actually interesting to see. I should go back and see what I said about Ohio State at the beginning of the season last year. Like to see what I say about a roster, like if I call the roster shit and they end up making the playoff. No, I've not gone to FSU yet. You're right in time. And I'm going to change all the logos and everything for the stream for week 1, which I do not know what day it will be at. Hopefully it will be this week or this weekend. All right, Florida State. All right, let's see what Llama left. So Dyron Satterfield would have been your starter. So now FSU's completely screwed here. 68 overall starter. You got Jake Johnson. So this is probably going to be a running team. You got Bishop Sankey. Mike Evans up to a 96, but he has no quarterback, kind of like real life now. Terry Nichols up to an 84. This is the freshman Amonra Leuha. He is a monster red zone threat. But they have no quarterback. So this team could make the playoff if they had a quarterback. So Llama leaving really screwed them over, because they would have had at least a 78 overall starter. This line's not really that great either. I mean, if they run the ball, they could probably still compete for the division. Just that game against Clemson. Ryan Shazier, though, starting as a redshirt senior. That's a W. Adonis Saunders, SFA player. All right, let's see. Ja'Cory Williams up to an 86. So not much progression for him here. Cody Stallone, SFA player, will start now. It's strong safety. All right, that's what Florida State looks like. Fresno. All right, 80 overall, quarterback. This is probably a team that you could take over and have some decent success with. Ronald Rutledge. Some decent freshmen that need to develop. Yep, Braxton graduated. This team has no SFA players currently. Or maybe ever. This might be one of the ones that's never. All right, Georgia, who probably, I haven't decided on my predictions yet for this season, but Georgia definitely going to be up there for winning it all. They are the highest overall team this season. Ryan McBride, the SFA player, and Dick Weed, who was supposed to go to Tulsa, and he didn't. He decided last second to go to Georgia like a bitch. So that's painful. Running back, you got Chris Chavez. You also got Aaron Ford. Aaron Ford's an SFA player. This team just rakes in SFA players from in-game recruiting all year long. It's maddening. They are tight end U still here because they got Lorenzo Pines, SFA player, and then they got Caleb Broussard, the SFA player. This is what he looks like now as a freshman. Kobe Beef, SFA player that they stole. He's the fucking third string. Jackson Wild is an SFA player. The number one SFA player, up to a 91 after one season of progression. That's nutty. Yeah, so I'm going to guess Georgia wins the SEC this year, but I don't know. We'll see. This is definitely one of the scarier teams. They're 95 across the board, ratings-wise. And David Daniels a 99. Taylor Sockrider, he was supposed to go to JSOW. This is what he looks like. This is what Georgia Southern's missing out on. Now he's just buried on this depth chart. Some of these players might be finding their way to the transfer portal, though, so we'll see. But yeah, watch out for Georgia. Georgia Southern. Quarterback Josh Johnson, who he stole from San Diego State. That's what he looks like in his redshirt sophomore year. A big pickup because he would have been stuck with a 69 overall starter. Justin Parker, not really too hot on the running backs. Wide receiver, this is what it looks like. Joseph Lewis, SFA player. Sammy Watkins, an SFA player. Decent tight ends, so 2 tight end sets should be coming. Yeah, this team definitely a step down from where they were last year. Kyle Brookins up to an 84, SFA player. Josh Gumbo, Robbie Tyson, both SFA players. Brooks Clint up to a 90. He's an SFA guy. Tyrell Davis. Co Simpson is an 80 overall. That's what he looks like now. Tyrone Reese. Garrett Hall. That's Georgia Southern. Georgia State, new user. Decent quarterback, Derek Brown. Bad running backs here. Probably want to recruit one through the Discord. Oof, this is gross. Georgia State. Down bad. A lot of freshmen. Alright, decent left tackle. Alright, the line is not that terrible. Decent linebacker there. Terrible cornerback class here. Yeah, sorry, I'm keeping my phone notifications on because getting my car serviced right now, so I gotta, if they call, I gotta pick it up. Alright, Hawai'i is a new user. Brad Harris. Communist Russia. So this is the team that Harps left. They would have had a 5-star if he stayed. Not too bad of a team. I expect this team not to go 2-10 this year. Got Jason Cook. Alright, now we got Houston. Made the playoff last year. They did lose a lot of good players, though. Kopp returns, though, the quarterback. Ferguson is now their starter. This team was abandoned by Skyflyer in cold blood for LSU. Blah. This team is still pretty good. They may still win the Conference USA, but we will see. Never mind, this line looks terrible. Oof. Oof. Only 1 of 5 starters on the line is in the 70s. That is not good at all. Garfield Lawrence, though, is back. He led the country in sacks last year. Roy Kent up to an 88 as a freshman. That's some really good progression from him. Wait, I forgot to see David Fatete. He's up to an 82. All right, he's an SFA player. George Davis here. This team is off limits for new users just because they made the playoff last year. Tony Shaw up to a 79. This is the team that gave up like 600 rushing yards to Texas A&M in the first round of the playoff. All right, Indiana. All right, so they finally have a decent quarterback for a year. One of the worst Power 5 teams in the country, year in and year out. See if their new user can breathe some life into this team, even though they don't look half bad, honestly. Could this be a year where they push for like a bowl game? Probably not. They're in the hardest division in the country. And this defense looks horrible. Never mind. So the offense is starting to look okay, but the defense needs some help. Yeah, this defense is bad. All right, Iowa coach Jarkis. Who will start at quarterback? Cody Green will be the starter now. Let's go. So Richardson did not progress enough, so Cody Green gets his starting job back. That's huge. He's up to an 87. We love ourselves some Cody Green action. He's an SFA player. Chaz Ralph, 92. That's pretty good. God damn, look at all these right tackles or guards. Jason Foreman, SFA player, up to an 82. Johnny Booth, SFA player. He was an outside linebacker, edge rusher, so I put him at end. That's kind of what I do for everybody. But yeah, he's looking good as a freshman. Will start. It's going to be available on the VOD. Cam Buffington is an SFA player. Tom Ackerman, freshman 2-star. He will start. All right, Kansas State. Still have a long ways to go. Quarterback. This team is definitely fallen off after making the playoff in season 9. Taking Georgia to overtime. Xavier Luvu, one of my favorite players from the class. He is a true deep threat. He is going to be a monster. Unfortunately, goes to a CPU team. So they had a good roster, though, last season. They were booty cheeks because they were on QB3 for 10 weeks. I think they won every game that they had their starter quarterback. They had their top 2 quarterbacks who were both like 90-plus overalls. Season-ending injuries. Decent. Okay, pretty good corners here. But definitely still not able to compete with Baylor in this division. All right, Kent. Yeah, no. No alts, you know that, llama. And alt gets both accounts banned. Alright, Kent, they have a senior. Doubt any team wants to. Anybody would ever want to take over Kent here. Kentucky. Coach Green's team. Mark Harris as the starter here. Jake Sharp's only a 66 overall, kind of booty cheeks. Rowe is back. One of the best fullbacks in the country. Got Hazelnut up to an 84. Dekel Crowdis, what a name. That's not an SFA player. They got Jamichael Killens, SFA player. That's what he looks like. Deshaun Candler up to an 81. Avery De La O will start for him, the 1-star. Remember, 1-stars in the server are like 4 stars in game. They are very good. All right, LSU. Starting quarterback Joe Munoz, or is it going to be Ryan Hall, or is it going to be Terrell Pryor? Definitely some decisions to be made there for Sky Flyer. Here's what the running backs look like. Not that great. David Brown, gold. Tavion Galloway, SFA player. He went up a few. This is one of those teams where SFA players go to die. They never play. Nathaniel Bandit, SFA player. He committed. He will start. JoJo Gates, SFA player. Bones Highland is a beast. Junior. So Mumu Binwadin will likely enter the transfer portal this year with 1 year of eligibility because he's stuck behind Bones Highland. Louisiana. All right. Coach Dirty Bird Daryl Jackson back for 1 more year. He's up to an 85. He got Brooks White. This is the guy who transferred from Texas A&M. Night Air Finley, former Team of the Year guy, up to a 91 as a junior. You got Fleming's Shane Acho, the SFA player. Will this be the year Louisiana's finally good? They have so much potential. Ndamukong Suh up to an 83 in the middle there. Not really great linebackers, unfortunately, for this team. Darren Williams, my favorite player of all time, or second IRL. Rest in peace. Bobby Chalk, the tamperer from Ole Miss. This is what he looks like. He's up to an 84. Darren Williams is the highest rated corner in the country now. So 96 is the highest. 80. 65. That sucks. So Louisiana, definitely some good players, but a ton of holes. LA Tech. First up, Youngsung Bong will now finally get the start. The 1-star international player from Season 8, the first class will finally be their starting quarterback. Cannot wait to see what he does. That's going to be a fun one to watch. Wide receiver, Zach Howard, SFA player, 95 speed. Blaine Kindly up to an 80, SFA player. James Kiffin, he did not go to the draft. One of the best corners in the country, a top 10 corner and SFA player, Team of the Year player as well. Louisville. All right, Louisville, let's see what they're up about. TJ Lewis, one of the fastest players in the country. Kyle Young, 77, not really great at the running backs. All right. Huggins Bruce made it into the ultimate highlight last season. This team, unfortunately, is really bad in the SFA universe, at least since moving over to the NCAA 14 sim. But not having a user really hurts you, so I wouldn't expect them to just automatically get super good. Not the worst corner class we see. Decent secondary. Vivian Alexander, SFA player, the only female in the SFA. 86 now. Marshalls. Will Carpenter's starter now. Devontae Parker, last of SFA players on this team from Fink's time. Yes, we have a female kicker. Joe Thuney, SFA player, is a senior. Surprisingly, he got an NCAA Player of the Week last year. Had like 5 sacks in one game. Maryland. Maryland's another team who is running out of SFA players. Gary Mackey is the quarterback. No more SFA halfbacks here. No more wide receivers, but Richard McKinney still there, senior, and Jay Swoozy. Holden Shaw, SFA player. Memphis. Making some good progress. They now have freshmen starting at quarterback. Ruff. Oh boy, this team definitely has fallen off a little bit. Probably will not even compete for the division anymore. This is why there's such strict rules about promotion. This team made the playoff in season 8, or season 9 actually, and they already have fallen off super hard. You got to be able to sustain your program success, not just have one pop off here. This team would be going 0-12 in the Big 12 right now. Yeah, terrible corners. There's Memphis. All right, Miami. I think a lot of people will be surprised that they were, I believe, 6th in the preseason poll, but this is a very high overall team, a very good team. You got Mark Liu still trucking. He was SFA quarterback last season. Jacoby Brissett, he's here as well. Halfback Melvin Gordon will now be the starter. Wide receivers, Allen Robinson, SFA player. Joe Shaw, we know what he can do. So a very good team all around here. Isaiah Showalter, SFA player, committed to them. Corey Flagg still here, trying to make one more run. And a player that I am very surprised that did not get tampered, but Andrew Sendejo's up to an 82. He's behind Titus Rodriguez, so he is very likely going to enter the transfer portal this year. All right, Miami, Ohio now. This team is falling off a little bit now. They're pretty good the last few years. With the rise of Buffalo, they've fallen. Very not great depth there at corner. All right, Michigan. J.J. McCarthy's redshirt senior. James Draws, SFA player. Fight for that starting job. Very good offensive line. Seth Chung here, SFA player. Calcium Loudermilk up to an 88. Big progression for him. Pretty good corner class. Michigan could be on the rise here. They made the playoffs season 7. Should have gone to the national championship, but they fumbled against Iowa State on the game-winning drive. All right, MTSU. My nemesis knocked me out of the playoff last season. Goddamn Flipper Masters. This team is preseason ranked because their core is back. Flipper Masters up to an 81. This is what he's looking like now. Frank Peasant is back as well, so those are the two highest producers. Pretty much their entire offense is back as well. They only lost one wide receiver. Definitely not a highly rated team, but still expect them to be good. This is a team that was good last year. Why not this year, right? With the same players. Definitely fallen off, though, slightly here. This is one of those teams, it's like, how are they good? So I'm hoping to beat them by 100 this year because I need payback. For my team, this is the final year. Everything's coming to a head. My best players are all about to leave, so it's like all or nothing before the rebuild starts. But yeah, that's Middle Tennessee State. Mississippi State, so one of our new SEC users. Let's see what they're looking at. Cole Baker, 79. That's not too bad. Running back, 77. Oh, boy. SEC, and you have under 80 overall starters. That's not the best. A good wide receiver, though. The line needs a lot of help. Oof. Gross. Pretty good corners. All right, Missouri. Coach Grady. So he thought that he was going to be starting Jamar Siggins this year, the SFA player 3-star. Should have been on Buffalo, but he choked the pipeline away. Very good prospect here. But McCone decided to come back after season-ending injury last year, so that's good for him. Got Taj Butts here as the starter. I'm expecting Missouri to get back to a bowl game. This is a team that's definitely good enough. Julius Dickens is his number 2 option SFA player he recruited. This team, I don't think they can quite push ISU for winning this division, but I fully expect this team to make a bowl game this year. This is a much improved Missouri. 89 overall there. Okay in the middle. Nothing crazy. Harrison Hood, SFA player, 77 overall. Not the greatest corner class, but nobody has a good corner class, it seems. You got Hibbler here. 88 overall on the back end. That's always nice. And 82. Yeah, so Missouri could be a dark horse pick this season. They look to be pretty good. NC State. One of the bigger disappointments in the SFA, Carmelo Cannon, he's back, but he is... Look at these ratings, and then look at these stats. 11-6 last year is the full-time starter for the first time. That's so bad. This man is 15-10 in his career. Oh, Carmelo. I want him to pop off so badly. This team made the playoff in Season 9. They got thumped by Ohio State in Round 1. Had a really down year last year. I think they only went 6-6. They still have a decent line to get that done, I'm guessing, so the line's not too bad. Once again, I think the ACC has a slightly down year, but I think that they're going to get back on the right track for the most part. Yeah. Colby Cobble, SFA player, up to a 82. Yeah, he doesn't have great awareness. Navy. All right. Quarterback Robbie Jones is your starter. Running backs. Chris Cooley is your SFA player. This line is disgustingly bad. Holy hell. You got SFA player Ty Terry. He is very good. This team's not looking that hot. I think, Harps, you dodged a bullet if you're watching this. Navy does not look that good. I think it's a good thing that they didn't offer to her, because this is... That was booty cheeks. All right, Nebraska. Paul Sanford, SFA player, going to get the start now. 99 awareness. Expect him to have a pop-off year. Rashad Perryman, SFA player, one of the only 99s in the country as far as speed goes. Tyler Croft, SFA player. This team finally did something last season, getting 8 wins. Shaq Jenkins, SFA player, up to an 86. Might be last year they compete. All their good players are redshirt seniors. Xavier Townsend, SFA player, 80 overall. Nevada, your reigning Mountain West champions. They got offered to pretty much everyone to be the coach. Nobody wanted this job. Rightfully so. This team, you know, you have one okay year for a quarterback. Yeah, I wasn't expecting anyone to take this job, though. Definitely not a team that you're like, yeah, I want to go coach Nevada. There's nothing exciting about this team. Toglia, pretty good. They need to get some more depth, though. Bad corner class. Corey Johnson, and then Rico Valdez, their only SFA players, up to a 72. He was the bust in season 9. And that is Nevada. New Mexico now. CJ Montez, Ryan Leaf. Because this guy is also 79, I'm already guaranteeing you guys Ryan Leaf will be in the transfer portal. So if you're in need of a one-year fix-it guy, Ryan Leaf will be available. I think Wyoming can push for this division this year. They won 6 games or 5 games, I believe, last season, and they added some stellar players. So I think for sure Wyoming will probably make a bowl game. The only other player really of note here, Ephesians Prysock, 75 overall. He's an SFA player. New Mexico's lost the Mountain West Championship 2 years in a row. North Carolina. Team that is very high rated, but no one can seem to fix. Josh Harris is their starter, a very young starter, so the new coach definitely pop off. Blackwell, decent. Like I said, this is a good team. It's just for some reason the sim hasn't liked them. Definitely need help at tight end. The line's really not that bad. Defensive line, on the other hand, definitely could use some help. Need to be able to generate pressure. Dilworth here. Power Eccles, some great linebackers. Yeah, their linebacker core is astonishing good. Definitely could use some more help, though, at corner. Good safeties, though. Like, this team should be good, so if whoever has UNC this year should be on the rise. North Texas, one of our new users. D-Sleep, I believe. Got North Texas. Quarterback, you have a sophomore, Tony Martin. 74 overall, not that terrible, but could use yourself an SFA quarterback. Ragsdale. So 2 senior running backs. You definitely need a running back for sure. Neighbors. I mean, this is one of those teams where you come onto this team and you could use help pretty much anywhere you can get it. Offensive line help. But that, when you're in a lesser conference, it's not really the first priority. First priority is wanting to get those star players set and then build around them. Defense could use a lot of help. Leota here is pretty good. Corner, not that bad. So this is actually one of the strengths of this team to start. All right, so this is really not that bad of a starting spot. Northern Illinois. Jay Ducker graduated, the leading rusher in SFA history. So let's see where they go from here. You got Ethan Hampton. Thomas Robertson as your running back. Definitely need some help there. Wide receiver, Billy Dozer. It's a funny name. Sword out. Alright, so they have some decent linemen here. Boos. Agipong. Opong. Some great names here on this defensive line. Remember to slow the video down if you need to. You got a guy named Dolphin. Ooh, a really good corner class here. All right, I kind of like that defense. So if you could get a running back, NIL could be a good team. All right, so we have 1099 overalls this year. That is 6 more than we had last year. And one of them, Brendan Sullivan, not an SFA player, but senior, this was a breakout team last year. We're going to see if they can replicate it. I'm not quite sure if they can. You got Banks, Mosley, Calvin Johnson II. No SFA players on this team. Decent line. They lost to Georgia in the Outback Bowl, which is the most prestigious CPU non-playoff bowl. Pretty good corners. Really, if you have 4 or 5 that are 70 plus, that's all you can really ask for now, with maybe your stars in the 80s or 90s. All right, Northwestern. Notre Dame. All right, Bart Rogers, SFA player at the start. Bobby Hall, Robertson, and then William Dozer, the Bill Dozer, SFA player at fullback. And then wide receiver, this is who you guys missed out on. Thad Mooney, the number 2 overall SFA player in the class, went to Notre Dame when nobody recruited him. 94 speed, deep threat, 87 catching. Really, really good player. He'll be in their slot to start. I think Notre Dame definitely going to be back on top this season. Greg Robertson, SFA player, 86 overall. Donnie Donowitz up to an 86, the SFA player and the starter. Okay corners, but no depth. And the SFA player, John Smith, up to an 82. All right, Ohio. Tim Alford. Oh, this is a bad team. Oh, boy. Gross. Okay, at least they have 2 decent wide receivers. Yeah, don't pick Ohio. This is definitely not for the faint of heart. Like, new users, I typically suggest, if you're going to go to the G5, go to one of the prominent programs that normally do well, like a Cincinnati or, you know, like Houston or something like that. Or just pick a P5 team because you're going to have a better starting experience. Don't pick a team like Ohio. You're just throwing yourself into the fire. Like, one, you're just trying to get your bearings straight and learn how the server works, and then you're going 0-12, so it's not really all that enticing. So new users, stay away from these shitters. All right, speaking of shitters, your defending national champions, Ohio State. Finally, Quinn Ewers gets the nod. Sitting behind people for so long. Yeah, Lee Sanders, Nicholson, Vincent, Dallas Jacobs, Daniel Sisk, SFA player. Once again, he's behind a freshman. He likely will hit the transfer portal. Tyron Jefferson, the SFA player, is part of the 99 overall club. Harrison, he's up there. Peter Parrish is back. Tight ends are actually really bad for Ohio State now. So that's something to keep an eye out. They love abusing the tight ends in the offense that they run. Sawyer's an 89. He replaces JT Tuilamoa. Justin Mason on the other side. Tyleik Williams back. Vegas Mercury is the starter now, SFA player. Downing back. Adam Richards back. Derwin Rainey, SFA player, is going to start in the slot now. Ashawn Storm, the freshman, the #1 overall in-game recruit. 85 overall, 91 speed. Zone, man, press, all really good. Watch out for Ashawn Storm. He's a monster. RJ Ware, another SFA player. 79 overall, not quite as good, but still really good. So they are definitely going to have one of the best corner classes for years to come now. So look for this team to be back in the playoff race for sure. Oklahoma, now the second best team in SFA history. They were the best, and then they've just completely fallen off the rocker the last few years. See if they can get back into the winning swing of things. Terrell Remmers, the SFA player, hopefully will start for them. I forgot he committed here. This team's one of those really good overall teams, but they just haven't been able to put together the wins in the last few years. Last year was really down. I think they only had 5 wins. past the 2-hour mark in stream. Let's go. Wonder if this one will be longer than last season's. Probably will. All right, Oklahoma State. Joey Robinson is a senior now. This is one of our new users, so welcome in. Tyler Lockett, SFA player, he's your star. Richard Rogers, also an SFA player at tight end. Decent left tackle. Manageable O-line, honestly. Danny Shelton, your SFA player in the middle there. Pretty deep class there for corners. Really liking this team. Don't think you'll make a run for the division, but you might finish second. That's a good team. Old Dominion. Speaking of teams that have fallen off, they now have some terrible starting quarterbacks. This team is definitely sunset, on the sunset side of their ability to compete. They still got Michael Thomas, SFA player. And then the best offensive lineman, or right tackle in the country, 91 overall, John Doe, SFA player. I gotta do everybody's players. This takes a while. That's why it's gonna be time stamped for everybody. This is definitely the most grueling thing I have to do for the SFA every season, but it's definitely worth it. You guys need to be able to see who's on your teams. Ryan Ryder, SFA player, senior. AJ Moore, SFA player as well. All right, Ole Miss. All right, one of our most prominent users, Coach Neal. Probably had the worst off season possible. All right, so you got Holstein and then Matt Ryan, Black Matt Ryan here. Jerome Jones, Lee Gaskin. Nate Robinson up to an 84 with Tamper, up to with his developer got up to a 98 speed. Brent Boozler, the second best wide receiver in the country, behind Heimlich Heisenberg. Derek Watt up to a 92 after getting redshirted like a bitch. Offensive line not looking that great. Left end here. Devion Haskins, SFA player. And the man, the myth, the legend, Kermit Scroat. This is his ratings to start. I mean, I have to record it anyways, so I do it live so you guys can watch it live if you want. Troy Oxford here, SFA player. I do it live and then it automatically shoots over to YouTube, so it does the recording and you get to see it live, so that's why I do it. Because that's probably why you did it, Skook. LaRod Hopgood up to a 9 or an 86. Got Terrell Devers. This is one of the deeper and better cornerback teams in the country. Miles Ricketts as well, so 3 SFA players here. They would have had Bobby Chalk as well, but he got stolen. Booker Atwood up to an 86. He has that 99 hit power. Not the craziest cover guy, though. Eric Weddle right behind him. And on the other side, you got Andre Carter. and you got Goodman, and you got Fox. So there is Ole Miss for you. Oregon now. Hopefully they have a better year. They have Scott Smith, Bill Battle, I think they only have one SFA player on this team now. They've been locked for a while. This is a team with another down year that could be unlocked for coaches. And then their only SFA player, Christian Comet, he had a season-ending injury a few years back. He's a junior now. Very thin at corner, only 5 total. They are all pretty good, though. I don't think I went through those one at a time. Hold on. There you go. Free safety. I mean, whether you did it because you're salty or because fuck dog water, that's the same thing. Oregon State, new user. See if this Oregon State sticks around. This is one of those revolving door teams. We're getting close, South Carolina. Thanks for sticking around, Zaxby. I believe you're the South Carolina coach. Eric Nance, SFA player, their second highest rated one. Don't think this team can compete quite yet, even though they have some decent linebackers. Yeah, already the longest scar. Yeah, Oregon State is another one of those teams like Scar that tossed around like a cheap whore. Penn State, speaking of curses, this team kind of got the short end of the stick with Coach Dave just leaving him. Leaving his alma mater like a savage. And now look at the quarterback. 72 overall. J.R. Henley is going to be their starter. 65 speed. Not what you like to see there at all. They do have Cabral still, though, so that's going to be good. Elgin Jack. Like, this team is still going to be all right, but they definitely need a quarterback as soon as possible. Yeah, some of the archetypes in this game don't make sense, especially with the players that I create. And I mean, they do have a good defense. But Dallas Dobbs is abandoned by Coach Dave. He is an 82 though. Demarion Triplett, SFA player, 88 overall. He's their top corner. Tariq Jones, also SFA player in the slot this year. Pat McAfee, the best punter in the SFA. All right, now we got Pittsburgh, who's a new user. All right, we got their starter. Oh boy, Pitt needs a starter bad. 69 overall. At least he has 80 speed though. Ricardo Joseph. They still got Ty Montgomery though, SFA player. Gene Dangus, former #1 in-game recruit, up to a 97. Not the best line here. Tanile Tupua, SFA player. Michael Bennett, SFA player. Lacoby Dean, SFA player, up to an 84. Rafi Springs, he was going to go to Tennessee like the whole year, and then he flipped to Pittsburgh. He's their starter. Let me go over his ratings real quick. So he looks like. So interesting team for Pittsburgh. All right, Purdue. All right, so you got Fulton. Terrible running backs. And then SFA player, the best player on their team, Philip Stewart. All right, Rice. This is the team that that Coach Silly left for Boise State. So let's see how they look. Danny Sanders, 73 overall. Some of these teams are very quarterback hungry. Oh man, probably good they got away from this team. This team's not looking at the 9 wins that they got a year ago. Got Nutter there. Oof, bad corners. A lot of good safeties, though. A lot of good safeties on this team. All right, there's Rice for you. Rutgers, one of our Kenzie new users from last season. Late last season. Got Rutgers. This team's going to be looking pretty good. You got Matt Campbell as your starter, the sophomore. You also have Kenneth Bryant if you want to use him. He does have a little bit more speed. Good throw power, really bad accuracy and awareness, though. Rashad Mendenhall stole him from Arkansas State, up to an 80 overall running back. Joel Petty, Munnerlin. Okay, so some really good receivers here. All right, deep. Offensive line, left tackle, doesn't look great. Vinny Queen, SFA player, sophomore. Okay, like the line. This team could push me, honestly. 86 on the line, oh boy. Not that great in the middle. This is a type of team that is capable of giving me like one random loss, which is scary. But yeah, Rutgers, there you go. SMU now. Ryan Patterson now a 90 overall. So that Patterson guy is probably one of the better young guys in the country. SMU might be back. See, this SMU team's way better than Memphis right now. AC Leonard, SFA player. Transferred from Vandy. Ben Schroeder. Decent corner class, especially for a G5. Not that great on the back end, though. Got Kevin Hart at a kicker. All right, San Jose State. Barclay is the starter here. Arsenino. All right, this is a team that's developing some quality skill possession. Could make a run in the Mountain West. Line does not look that great, though. These Nuts SFA player, 78 overall now. And South Alabama. The pause I'm doing at the beginning of all teams. Remember, I'm writing down timestamps. Jake Jackson's the starter, 88 overall. So this may be the year of the Jaguars to make a run here. 82 overall there. Okay, I'm liking this team so far. Wide receivers, you'd like this to be a little bit better, but super deep. 75 plus at all your starting receiver spots. Decent tight ends. All right, let's see how the line is. 74, 69, 62. Oh, dear. Nah. All right, making up for it with that right tackle. And then the number one player in the class, this is one of those where there's a UI glitch. He's actually an 85 overall, but when I did the first look screenshot, it busted it up to 87. He's an 85, but D.D. Holmes, the number one player out of Maine from the Discord recruiting. So he should be a monster. South Alabama might be my pick out of this division. Remember, TC's preseason predictions historically are 50% accurate as far as getting playoff teams and division winners, which I'd say is pretty good. All right, now South Carolina. Coach Zach, well worth the wait. Let's see how this team is rocking. Starting at quarterback, Colton Gauthier, Chris Jacobs, John Paul Wallace, what a name. So 1 year of decent quarterback play. All right, Kevin Waters, a great player there. McFarland, Will Conley, West, Schaefer, Merriman, very deep at receiver. We're liking this. Tight end, Corey Simmons. Now look at this. You have a lot of good players, but mostly seniors. So definitely going to need a lot of recruiting. Not too bad. One bad position on the line, you would want that to be your center. So I really like the line. Defensive line's looking all right. Pretty weak in the middle. That's all right. Antoine Williams, 83. Little weak here at linebacker. Corners, you got Brandon Little. Some nice speed, but this is one of those teams that is desperate need of cornerbacks. Palmer. And then you got Christian and Higgins. So all in all, really liking this team. That's a great starting spot. Yeah, great starting spot for a user. All right, Stanford. Another user ranked in the top 25. Ari Patu decided to come back, 98 overall. Trey Mason, SFA player, will start. Darren Hayes, Tyrese Hall, SFA player. Nick Van Nett, SFA player. think Stanford could be back in the top 10 this year. I'm a big fan of this team, especially the defense. Michael Sam will get the start, SFA player as well. A lot of very old SFA players on this team. SFA player Kyle Powers, now the starter at middle linebacker. And one of my favorite players ever in the SFA, we got Fork. He's had 2 Team of the Years in a row. This man's a monster. Watch out for Fork. I said Gamara is a D3 starter. Ryan Scales. Kwiatkowski, 94 SFA player now. I love Stanford secondary. All right, Syracuse. Another team with a lot of SFA players. DeAndre Wilkinson, 87 overall as a senior. He really hasn't done anything in his career. Dexter McCluster was a Bear Cave reward, 898 overall now. He had a injury last year, so hoping he does a little bit better. But Syracuse has 2 of like the top 10 running backs in the country. Wide receivers, Corey Burke came back. Kelvin Benjamin is an SFA player. So is Charlie Heaton. He is one of the freshmen that committed here on his own. So all SFA player top 3. That's pretty fun to watch. I don't think we have a lot of that across the country. Will Pitts. Fergus Sinclair, one of the better SFA linemen in the country. Makes Team of the Year every year. A 37 overall. I've never seen this bad. Oh, this is the guy that went like -7. Oof. I would normally approve that stuff, but I'm trying to get through this. I'm not going to worry about chat. Ronald Martin Jr., SFA player, 82. David Young, SFA player. Stephon Tuitt has gotten completely buried here. He's an SFA player. He's a 37 because he's like a walk-on, and then he got hit by negative progression. Dewey Deeks is a 90 now. Corner, they've lost. This went from one of the best corner classes in the country to one of the worst. Losing Darrell Revis. So, Wayne Rooney, SFA player. All right, TCU now, Coach Mango. Let's see what you're working with. I'm very surprised Anthony Black did not get tampered. Multiple coaches were considering him. But Anthony Black's now an 86 overall, 94 speed. He is a madman. And then you also got a 5-star freshman quarterback, JT Redwine, who's going to take over right after him. So TCU is set for the next 5 seasons at quarterback. Joshua Hilton, SFA player there. Wide receiver, Speedy Gonzalez, one of the fastest players of the country, and an SFA player, 98 overall. Yeah, JT Redwine is a beast. I'm happy he went to a fun team instead of sitting behind someone on Alabama's depth chart. DT's looking okay. Luke Bowman, his Tampa pick did go down, but he's still a decent number 2 starter. And knowing how these corners back classes are in the country, that's a huge pickup. Yeah, so TCU's definitely going to be on people's radars moving forward. Temple. The Owls, how are they looking? 69 overall quarterback, not what you're looking for. They save it at running back a little bit. Oh, this wide. Okay, Temple will not throw the ball this season. That's horrible. All right, I like the left tackle. Left guard's bad. Center's bad. Right guard's okay. Right tackle's okay. Yeah. I remember those shitters. A ground beef chili. Bratwurst. All right, not bad at corner. Yeah, we're almost at the 2-hour and 30-minute mark here. We're only on the tees. It's all right. We're making great progress. Texas now. This is a highly anticipated one. Coach Dave, his new team. We went over his old team a little bit earlier. So let's see. Starting at quarterback is senior Larry Durbin or Melvin Stratton. So definitely needs to recruit a quarterback this season. You got Todd Phillips here. All right, decent running backs. Wide receiver core could be a lot better for this team. Gunnar Helm. Offensive line. That's all you need is a good offensive line. So, not that bad. Some nice freshmen. This team also has SFA player Myron Gibbs up to a junior now. Sonny Myers, one of the players that he brought over with him. This is what he's looking like as a freshman. Huge help because they had no other good middle linebackers. Frank Beamer, as a senior, he decided to come back. Was on Team of the Year, so that's a big help. And then Mustafa Farouk, 76 overall. He is one of your freshmen. So interested to see what Coach Dave does with this team moving forward. All right, A&M Skook time. Let's see how bad his team is now. All right, 75 overall Tim Larson, followed by 43 Chad Sanders and DeMarcus Brewer. Oh, man, if Tim Larson gets hurt, Skook's in trouble. Luckily, he has 85 injury, but they need to be careful running this man. He has 82 speed. Skook needs to put his massive budget all into a quarterback. He needs it so bad. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen for a user. He had Stowers declare and 2 backup QBs transfer, I believe. Running backs not looking all that great anymore. Wide receivers, obviously. Percy Knox, one of his only recruits from last season. 96 speed as a freshman. This man is a monster. I'll take some strawberry pie for dessert. Matthew Brown, SFA player, up to an 87. Once again, I mean, it's A&M. They're going to have a great in-game recruiting class. They're going to have all 80s starting across the line. On defense, still going to be very good. D-tackle. You're going to have one shitter probably starting somewhere unless you run a 3-4. AJ Hawk, up to a 76. Could find himself in the portal. And Solomon Geraldo, SFA player, is now the number 1 corner. Once again, not too deep of a position for him. Mark Goings comes back, the knockoff Von Miller, wearing number 40. Gilbert as well on the side. Chandler Johnson, SFA player as well. Could also find himself in the portal. But yeah, there's Texas A&M. They need a quarterback bad. Texas State. All right, quarterback, SFA player Jose Sanders, 88 speed. He's never really done anything in his career. Hopefully he can get this team to a bowl game. Ken Moss. I mean, this is just one of those G5 shitters. And this is honestly one of my least favorite G5 teams. This color scheme is so horrible. Brown and like, it's like a brown red with a like piss gold. Like, I don't like it. It's gross. And this team is gross. My God. All right, finally a decent player. A little in the middle. And not too terrible at corner. All right, Texas Tech. I play him this year. He is one of our users, Coach Mark. Be interesting to see. He does have the scouting guide, so that could be very useful for him. Oh boy. Speaking of teams that don't have a quarterback, Texas Tech needs one very badly. 69 overall, Darren Mullins. Conception, Daniel Smith, and Traylon Sanchez. All right, Texas Tech looks to be running the ball this year. Wasting Jerron Bradley, 95 overall, Blake Schultz. Oh my. So this is the purpose of the SFA players, is you got to see your weaknesses coming and be able to hopefully make up for them. Last season was tough. He tried to put 450K on a quarterback. He didn't get him. So this season will probably be pretty tough for Texas Tech. But he has the scouting guide, so hopefully he'll be able to make a run at a quarterback. Decent corners, though. And who knows, this could be the team that decides to make a massive run, defying overall. Yeah, exactly. Texas Tech is one of those primed SFA player teams, because you get decent players coming in, but those key SFA players could put you over the top. All right, so no more Brett Huntley, very likely a first ballot Hall of Famer, no longer on Toledo, so Tucker Gleason is taking over now. Jack Snowball, the SFA player, finally getting a start. No more Marquise Lee, so a new look Toledo this year. Simi Kazi, an 80 overall now. 91, all right. So this team still probably is very good. They just don't have Jet Riker, another SFA player. Pisses me off every time I see his name on a right tackle. Whitney Merciless, now the starter, SFA guy as well. Brandon Tulapupu, SFA player, finally getting a start. So some of his Harrington, not a starter yet. Teddy Massey, Chet Moss, SFA player. And Jaquavion Tavius, a top 3 corner in the country, SFA player as well, 99 speed. Bad secondary there for Toledo. All right, Troy. Troy is a new user as well. Quade Hawkins. All right, so not that bad of a starting team. This team won their division last year. Gave JSOW a decent game in the Sun Belt Championship. 85 left tackle. All right. Okay, this line is doing some work. They could, this team could definitely win this division again. In the group of 5, if you have a few studs but a really solid O-line, you're going to win most of those games. Corner class, pretty good. And also, what's the over-under on the number of times I've said the word SFA player today? Probably like 300 times. All right, on to Tulane. got Kai Horton now. A decent running back. Really, really good wide receivers. 85 plus at 3 spots is unheard of in the G5. Decent line so far, 67. Dude's probably like 20,000 at this point. Yeah, hey, it's an important word. When a guy is an SFA player, you know he is really good. They're just inherently better. I don't know what it is on how we make them. It might be because like we tend to give them lower awareness than normal, so it allows you to also give them better ratings everywhere else. So that might be why they're just better. All right, it's Tulsa, who is another new user. Welcome in, Tulsa. I'm looking now. Looks like you're going to have 1 year. Braylon Braxton. What a name. And a very good quarterback to start you out. All right. Got Weathers here. Are we in for a Tulsa redemption arc? I'm all here for a good Tulsa. They have not been good since season 4 or season 5. Almost made the playoff 1 year. But UTSA beat them. Stealing the bid. Oof, D tackle's a little rough. Remember, watch the video at like 0.25 speed. I try to get through these as quickly as possible because I have 126 teams to feature. Alright, I like Tulsa this year. That's a good pick. Go Tulsa. Alright, we're into the U's. The home stretch. UAB made the playoff in Season 7. Connor Cook, SFA player. He is a trash can. But Bo Byers, SFA player, committed to him. He is a very good pickup. From California, nobody wanted him last season. Can this team, they won 1 game a year ago. Can they somehow right the ship? I do not think so. Not with Connor Cook at QB. Long past the days of Tom Savage, Rex Burkhead, and DeMarcus Easley. But they have Theo Porter, SFA player, 79 overall. This is because he's below Bobby Ford. He might find himself in the transfer portal. UAB definitely would be a fun team because you get to play all the Sunbelt guys, but not glamorous. UCF, who is another new user. Let's see, 230. We're at 239. Let's go. UCF. Mike Keene for 1 more year. Definitely need a new quarterback. Lots of coaches needing a quarterback. I'm glad that the game fixed that for me, honestly. Because that is such a headache if you don't get the quarterback when you desperately need him. Then you're just guaranteed a year of shittiness. Luckily for emergencies, though, I'd have Clint Kubiak. Alright. UCF, not really ever been good in the SFA. So, this is 2017 in-game, so is this the year of UCF? Self-proclaimed national champions, which I agree with. You go undefeated, you deserve to call yourself a champion. Not with this corner class, though. That's shit. Same with these safeties. Oh, boy. So definitely need some TLC here in Central Florida. UCLA. Time for Coach Harps. New team. See what she's rocking with here. We got Tavarius Trace, the #1 ranked quarterback in this recruiting class. 75 speed, decent awareness, has a cannon of an arm. Accuracy is pretty good as well. You also have Sean O'Neal, so 2 decent guys. AJ Sampson, SFA player. Here's a look at those starting ratings. Okay, year one for him. Nothing crazy. Wide receiver, definitely could use some work. Tight end, same. Good left tackle. Left guard, center, definitely could use some love on the O-line, but these guys are actually usable. A really good 3 corners. That's very helpful for your first year, but you do need some more depth. Safety, some decent players here. Really, this is one of those teams that vastly underperformed how good their team actually is, so I think Coach Harp's got a steal here in terms of being able to compete. QB, Sammy Baugh up to an 80 overall. My God, this progression was massive. Fortunately, he doesn't have really any, ability to run the ball or whatever. But Sammy Baugh, okay, I see you. 85 now. So if you're facing ULM, don't just write him off. An 88 running back. Okay, hold up. We might have a good CPU team here. Wide receiver's not looking too good though. It's all about that O-line. 69, 65, 74, 71, 80. No, 72. All right. Line's looking a little rough. This team's basically QB running back. Nothing else. Sammy Baugh is definitely a fun team. Or a fun guy. Terrible corners. Bad safeties. All right, now it is time. Time for Coach Llama. Let's see what his team looks like. Dyron Satterfield, 80 or 78 overall. He can also play cornerback as well. We'll see where he falls on that depth chart. But he is mainly a quarterback. And then Darren Archer, one of the top players in this class. He's looking mighty juicy. Some decent receivers. All right, a decent tight end. All right, now let's see how the line looks to start. All right, 79 and an 80, 67, 66, and a 69. All right, so the left side of your line's a lot better. Defensively, all right, a decent. So your defensive line needs some work. Corners. Okay, so Dyron Satterfield will be your nickel corner. You got Deltha O'Neal as SFA player as well. But yeah, so Dyron will be in the slot for you. Vernon Robinson. All right, so that's what UNLV looks like. USC, this team very well could be making a move to actually be really good this year. You got Miller Moss, 91. Jackson Dart, no longer the starter. Really good running backs. Manjack Jackson, really, really good wide receiver core. Good tight ends. Line can actually do something. This team is very good all the way around. This team could very well win the Pac-12. They're not in the preseason rankings, but corner's a little scary there. Some really good safeties. Very deep at safety here. And that's USC. USC is definitely a scary team. Now to a not so scary team, USF. A 68 overall quarterback. Oh no. Not looking too hot here. Ethan Kelly, SFA senior. Kendrick Law, SFA player. I still have Kubiak. I got Junior Jabby taken. I thought I was ready to lose Kubiak. Kevin Byard, SFA player. I was ready to lose Kubiak. I totally thought someone was going to steal him, but it was Jabby who got stolen. I'm glad both didn't get taken. I would have been down bad at safety at that point, because I knew if one of my safeties got taken, I could just put Sua Cravens back at safety, which was his original position. He went down a few in overall, but it was worth it. All right, Jacoby Longino. This is UTEP. Terrible. I tried to convince Jay Jettas to go to UTEP a few years ago. He did not take the bait. They had like an $800,000 budget. Yeah, it's just, you know, he came in as like a 77 overall or something, and a few seasons, no progression from those quarterback. Then you only have like a few years of eligibility with like a 77 overall quarterback. So it may not have been worth it. At least that's what Coco point of thought was when picking somebody else. All right, UTSA. Not terrible here. This is another shitty team. Yeah, a lot of these teams could be using a 77 overall QB for sure. Fucking Texas A&M. That's so funny, dude. If Larkin gets hurt, his season is over. He's gonna have to start a 45 overall. Dude, a 45 overall in Texas A&M playing. I mean, it's kind of like real life. It's like Haynes King. You know what? That's a decent punishment, though, for being a Mickey Mouse team. Have the fun playoff run. Now you got to grind your way back. So Costelli for Utah here, 89. Ricky Parks, 85. This is the last of the core from the national championship winning team. They got Malcolm Cope at the top there. I mean, it's his fault for not foreseeing some two guys declare in a transfer, you know. Skill issue for Skook there. Decent team again for Utah, even though definitely not as good as they were in the past. Nicholas Oakley, freshman, 93 overall. He looks to be very good. Or 93 speed, I mean. And then Bruno Ferrari, the SFA kicker, 89 power. Yeah, but you had to lock in your offseason strategy before you see players leaving. All right, Utah State, look at their best player there. Former Arizona punter, Spencer Lanning. 75 overall sophomore, really not that bad. One decent receiver. So at least being kicked off Arizona, Spencer Lanning will be punting a ton. So he's going to be getting his reps in, hopefully trying to go to the league, right? Spencer Lanning. All right, Vandy. The only open SEC team, well, along with Kentucky. But Motley now. Decent receivers. This team could be not shit this year. Yeah, quarterback's one of those things where, in general, my frame of thought in the SFA is you need to, at any given time, know who your quarterback's going to be for the next 3 seasons. That way you have a 3-season buffer to recruit somebody. Or may try to get one of the athletes who has QB as the secondary position. That's what I did. I have 2 of them. I was trying to get Satterfield, but I didn't get him. All right, so Vandy. Virginia, a new user. And they now officially have their first SFA player in team history. We'll get to him in a little bit, but you got Jacob Rodriguez here. The Antonio Kirk is the in-game. He's like a 77. He was like my, if worst comes to worst, he would have been quarterback. So my plan was obviously Dak, Kubiak, and then Kirk. All right, so Virginia. Not too bad here. So Virginia, this might be the first season in a very long time where they are at all relevant. Their first SFA player in team history is Seven Cloud. He decided to evade Ole Miss. I really like this Virginia team. They could be a pop-off team this year. I'm liking the corner, all things considering. And obviously, I may miss a SFA player here or there throughout this stream. We have hundreds of them, so. All right, Virginia Tech. Bullock. This team needs a quarterback. Yeah, Wyoming is soon. I'm long past the days where I expect anything for Virginia Tech. They were a very good team. But you got Roderick Rook Chungong, SFA Team of the Year player. Fortunately, he did not progress. He was down in Cabo with Heimlich Heisenberg, I guess. No progression from him. But yeah, this team has not been good since the sim matchup days. Decent corners. Ricardo Lorenzo, SFA player, 77 now. Wake Forest. Quarterback, you got Ross Stiegel. This is an open team currently. Yeah, dude. Basically, Randy Watson, Heimlich Heisenberg, Rook Chugong, and Snoop Todd all went to combo, partied their asses off, did not progress. Randy Watson even went down by 3. Fucking bullshit. I was so salty when I didn't see I'm so salty when Heimlich didn't go up. I'm like, 2 years in a row he gets no progression. Urgh. Bernardrick McKinney, SFA player, senior. 2 years. Yeah, you got boned, but then the game gifted you a fucking 83 overall tight end pin. I don't feel bad for you. All right, Washington. All right, Joe Davis is their quarterback now. This team is ranked a lot higher than they probably should be. They lost a ton of players. I'm expecting a steep fall off from this team. They still could compete in the division, but I'm not expecting like they made the playoff the last 2 seasons. I don't expect a third. All right, there is Washington. Wazoo, Washington State. Xavier Ward, a 90 overall senior, nice. This is a team that could get some love from a user. Not the best line. Edson's a decent player. Bad corners. Honestly, cornerback this year, anything that's 75 plus is considered good. But I'm expecting some very good wide receiver years. All right, so now we got West Virginia. All right, so you got Goose Crowder. Nelson Spruce, now the top target SFA player. My favorite Colorado player of all time. Nelson Spruce. This team's not too bad. I believe the guy who came in to be the West Virginia coach left. Bad corners, bad corners. All right, Western Kentucky. '84, '81. Middle of the road AAC team here. They might be able to push Middle Tennessee State for the number 2 spot behind me, though. I was scared of this team last year. Little did I fucking know Middle Tennessee State would dick me down. Fucking Bo Wallace, man. We are flying through these last teams here. Western Michigan, though. Speaking of Cabo. They got Habrowski at senior, so he really could start using Snoop Todd. He needs quarterbacks. Glenn Ewing is SFA player. He'll be a nice successor to Snoop Todd. We just crossed the 3-hour mark. Oof. Definitely could use some wide receivers. This team is going to be bad this year. Oof, stinky. All right, defense kind of coming up clutch. Let's see what Cody can do here. Mickey Switzer, SFA player, now a junior. Oliver Waldorf, SFA player. Wisconsin, only 2 more. Let's go. Cedric Morris is the quarterback now. Honestly, a really good one. That's a nice pickup. Kim Stingley, SFA player, 86 overall now. Could be a Team of the Year pick moving forward. Could definitely use some receivers. Josh Kirkpatrick and Dan Katz, SFA players. Dan Katz up to a 79. Hoping that this team gets revived a little bit. Ed Davis, SFA player, 89 overall. Love to see that. No more Dechard Pippins, unfortunately, so pretty weak there. And Joey Cool, SFA kicker. Joey Cool. All right, the final team, Coach Wind. Hopefully you're here. Wyoming. Andrew Warfield, the true sophomore, 88 overall, 94 throw power. This man was freaking monstrous. You would have been stuck with Ike Riggs, so definitely an improvement. Perry Potts, the 79 overall player, will wear number 21. 87 speed. Remember, he is a power back, so big power, not that much elusiveness. And then you have Mark Cooper, who's your change of pace back at 96 speed. Wide receivers, this is definitely where you need some help in the future, but Andrew Warfield will elevate their play for sure. Let's see how the rest of the team shapes up. Line, you definitely need some help. Defensively, all right, Micah Young here. That's a nice little player. Ooh, D-tackle. All right, so your defensive line is actually going to be okay against these Mountain West teams. Yeah, Mountain West. 60 overall starting middle linebacker. Not that good. Corner. All right, 2 good starters for corner. That's all you could hope for. And Mike Coleman here. And then the man, the myth, the legend, the 7-footer who cannot jump, Alton Jackson, 96 overall junior, 99 hit power, 99 play rec. Great zone, great tackle. This man is a fucking monster. 99 block shedding. This man can do no wrong. Kicker, 87. You have a good kicker, Larry Calhoun. And yeah, that's your Wyoming team. This team definitely could push JSOW in the first game of the season. All right, so that's every team there for you. If you miss your team, this is going to be on a VOD on YouTube. It might take a little bit for it to upload and for me to insert all of these timestamps, but it will be up today. But yeah, as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys on week 1.